Some people believe a central bank digital currency, or CBDC, is a bad idea. Rumors have been spreading all year, which were subdued by the Federal Reserve saying they have not decided on a CBDC. And the new FedNow, anticipated to go live this month, in July, will not include a CBDC. But is that true? I did some checking myself by looking into none other than the horse's mouth, the Fed's YouTube channel. I went through all the material, and here's what I found. FedNow is a new instant payment service being developed by the Federal Reserve. It's designed to provide financial institutions with a secure and reliable way to process payments in real time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Its features are speed, security, reliability, and privacy. Whoa, back it up there. The word privacy was never used in all the Fed material I looked through. If they control your money, they control you. Most people's main concerns with the CBDC are privacy and government control. Those fears aren't unfounded, as a programmable digital currency with its ledger open to the government without a warrant is the ultimate instrument of control over our daily lives. Even an altruistic and incorruptible political class could not resist the temptation to force behavior. More on those concerns later. As for now, how close are we to a CBDC, if ever? Some commenters have brushed it off, but I think we're much closer than most people realize, and here is why. We're not talking about going to the moon here. Developing a CBDC is not that challenging at all. In fact, there already exist ready-made, off-the-shelf digital currencies, such as Ripple and Stellar, based on blockchain technology. The US would certainly build its own in-house tech stack, but you get the idea here that a CBDC is not difficult to develop. Many countries already have CBDC projects at the pilot stage, meaning they're past development and are testing the systems out now. Among those using Ripple are Colombia, Montenegro, and others. Let's take a look at the Atlantic Council's website that tracks CBDC rollout across the world. If we set the filter to only launched CBDCs, then we see there aren't that many. Just 11 countries are live now with a CBDC. Now let's look at the pilot stage. 21 countries have finished development and are testing their projects right now. Among those are Russia, China, and India. BRICS countries, right? Next, we look at those countries still in the development phase. We have Brazil, another BRICS member, and the United States. Notice the use case here, retail and wholesale. What that means is there are two different types of CBDCs in development. A retail CBDC is what you and I would use to buy things at a market or repay a personal loan. Wholesale would be for bank-to-bank settlements and especially cross-border bank-to-bank financial transfers. Notice the notes here if we scroll down. In the US, progress on retail CBDC has stalled. In order for something to be stalled, it must first have been started. And then, since Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the G7 sanctions response, wholesale CBDC developments have doubled. Clearly, the focus right now is on wholesale CBDC projects in the US. And then it seems likely they'll get back to the retail projects in the future. It's not off the table. If each country has its own CBDC, then how are cross-border payments made? Doesn't that necessitate the need for a common currency, a reserve currency system like we have now? Not necessarily. BRICS has been in the news lately over an alleged gold-backed digital currency to settle payments within BRICS members as an answer to SWIFT. Of course, SWIFT is the international payment system we currently use. SWIFT is a cooperative society that provides secure financial messaging services to banks and other financial institutions around the world. It makes all currencies have to use the US dollar for cross-border payments, which is at the core of sanctions the US imposes on other countries when they do things the US and its allies, the G7, don't like. If you remember, not long ago it was the G8, but Russia got expelled for the annexation of Crimea in 2014. The global economic landscape is becoming increasingly multipolar, with the BRICS and G7 emerging as two major blocks. Back to our question. Is a common digital currency necessary for cross-border payments? The answer is no, it's not. The reason is that there already exists a new de facto standard for the exchange of financial messages. Remember, SWIFT is the old financial messaging system. The new messaging standard is ISO 20022. It's an international standard for the exchange of financial messages. It's designed to replace the many messaging standards currently used in the financial industry. This will make it easier for financial institutions to communicate with each other and will help to reduce errors. ISO 20022 is also designed to be more flexible and adaptable than the current messaging standards. This will allow it to be used for new types of financial transactions, such as those that are related to digital assets. Many financial institutions are already using the standard, and more are expected to adopt it in the future. And do you know who else has adopted ISO 20022? The aforementioned Ripple and Stellar, along with other cryptocurrencies. This will allow cryptocurrencies to interoperate with traditional financial institutions and payment providers. This aspect of a new, interconnected financial world is not scary. There are significant benefits in security, interoperability, and availability of financial services. Now, for the scary parts. Number 1. This could further weaken dollar hegemony. Nations in Africa no longer have to go find US dollars to settle cross-border trade. They could settle using their own currency while still maintaining their own sovereign CBDC. This would benefit them as a nation, so why wouldn't they take that? Number 2, dollar demand would decrease and the dollar would fall. For those of you visiting this channel to hear about gold and silver stacking, a weakening dollar means gold prices go up, which sounds good to me. Number 3, although FedNow doesn't include a CBDC component at this time, it has been left open-ended so that one could be incorporated at a later time. In addition, there are a number of potential uses that have been discussed. Potential uses for FedNow are to record real estate transactions and other assets, such as stocks, bonds, and intellectual property. This would make tracking ownership and transferring these assets easier, which could help reduce fraud and increase efficiency in the financial markets. To support those proposed use cases, FedNow would have to be, and get this, it would have to be tokenized, meaning a new digital currency. FedNow would have to become a CBDC to support those proposed use cases. How soon will this happen? As the saying goes, change happens slowly at first and then all at once. Right now, things are moving slowly. There's a lot of skepticism here in the US, and those people will need to have their minds changed. Once they see a personal benefit, such as benefits payments, then a CBDC will be accepted by the people. Congress would have to approve it. There's a process. So yes, it'll likely take time to get here, but I believe CBDC is inevitable in the US, a few years out for sure. Why don't people like the idea of a CBDC? One issue is privacy. A ledger containing every financial transaction you make, where you shop, what you buy, and how you use your money is, in aggregate, a profile of your behavior. A type of social credit score, like the one that originated in China. And besides, people don't like being snooped on. The other issue is control. A programmable CBDC could be directed to reject certain transactions deemed undesirable by the powers that be. Oh, I don't know, ammo, the wrong type of magazines, or even precious metals. There could also be a tax placed on every transaction, similar to the VAT common in Europe. A value-added tax is levied on goods and services as a type of indirect tax paid by the consumer. For example, in the United Kingdom, taxes are levied against silver purchases at a rate of 20%. 20% tax to buy silver. No doubt, this would give rise to a shadow economy, that part of the economy that is not officially recorded or regulated by the government. Payments would be made in silver and gold, and possibly crypto, but with KYC and the public nature of crypto blockchains, also known as ledgers, crypto isn't very private. To prepare for this future, many people are stacking gold and silver in reasonable amounts, just for insurance, just in case things go high and to the right. If you're new to precious metals and this situation has you concerned, then I invite you to stick around this channel and the community for solid information on what stacking is all about, how to get started, and how to stay motivated. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.